What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Today on the program, speaking of entertainment, I have Reynard Thomas, a.k.a. Rey T. Yes, you know Rey T. You know who that is. That is the singing, Grammy-nominated songwriter, producer, composer, arranger, singer, dancer. He's out there in California, the place you ought to be if you want to do some singing. And you're going to get to know Rey T, Reynard Thomas, a.k.a. Rey T, in the next few minutes. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss that. This week's shows, I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. What? Of course I'll be at the Rab on Friday night. That's my usual Friday night gig. The video dance party karaoke jam. Yes, I said karaoke. Starts at 8 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Pool tables. Pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're waiting to sing on stage right next to yours truly, come on out to the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. The video dance party karaoke jam is on 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. That's the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Friday night, come on out and play. And then on Saturday, I got a wedding. Yes, weddings are back, baby. It's getting cooler. We're able to go outside, get a little tent, and go play and have a wedding and make people's day so much better. Oh, I'm so happy that I get to be part of people's big day. I get to be part of a lot of people when they're having their best times and make their times just a little bit better. I'm so happy to play for people. I know I keep mentioning weddings. Unless you're invited, you cannot come. But the only reason I mention them is because I'm excited. I'm glad that I still get to do weddings after all these years. It's so cool. And, you pick the music and we plan ahead of time, and it's going to be a great wedding. They've done a lot of planning. The more you plan, the better I'm going to be for you. So I tell people that, they'll hire me months, sometimes even years in advance. And the more planning that they give me, the better I'm going to be. And every wedding I'm nervous. I don't know if I should say it, but I'm nervous because I want it to be as good as you want it to be. But then after the wedding, that went awesome. Okay, next. So yes. Hey, I'm just excited that I get to still entertain people after all these years. Thank you so much. Check out DJLittleRock.com. All right, that's it for the intro. Let's get into it with Reynard Thomas, a.k.a. Rey T. I got Rey T on the Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Skyping Rey T now.
Okay, let's see. Now, is that better?
Oh, my goodness. Reynard Thomas, a.k.a. Rey T, as I live and breathe. Oh, the vapors. The vapors. There's a legend in my face right now. Oh, I like it. I like it so much, man. And the reason I say legend, hey, KeysDAN here. Nice to meet you. The reason I say legend, man, I perused your YouTube page, and my goodness, there's not a lot of bio, but what you do is you speak through your music. You let the music
I try to
do the talking, and that's what it is, man. I'm trying to figure out, those are all your vocals, your smooth sounds, your R&B kind of soulful voice.
Yes.
That's you, Rey T?
I do all my own vocals.
Oh, man. That just, I'm listening. Shoot, you have so many songs, but I went back 11 years because you've been doing YouTube since YouTube was a baby, obviously.
Yes.
YouTube
Yes.
just started, and then Ray T said, "There's another platform for me to shine," and you did, man. You did. You put it all out there. You got the first song I listened to was "What's Going On," and that's a song. I mean, the video. All right, I'm a guy of MTV age. I'm class of '86. That's when I graduated high school. So I remember when MTV used to play music videos, and those 3-minute songs turned into a 3-minute movie that told a story. And the story that you told with that song was like about a soldier maybe coming home, or somebody that was in battle. Let's start there. Tell me about what's going on. I know you did that 14 years ago. 14. Go ahead.
14. Excuse me. What's Going On was one of the first attempts that we did at a video, and I tell people what Marvin said 40, 50 years ago is still relevant even now today. We did that I think in like 07, 08, somewhere along in there, and it was just so much going on. The price of gas going up. I think they had just did something to the World Trade Center, and it had to be said again. So what I did was I combined two: what's going on and what's happening, brother. And I just want to tell everybody the same thing. What was relevant then is relevant now, and same time, same place, different channel.
Well, Ray T, I mean, you're a student of history, obviously. You have to be learned to know that things keep happening over and over. People forget about history, or they whitewash history. I've seen, with statues falling down, with people forgetting that there was slavery, with people forgetting that there was, a Ku Klux Klan, and people saying, "Oh, that Hitler guy, he wasn't so bad. He had some good points." People forgetting all the bad that all the history. They're doomed to repeat themselves, man. We got to learn to get along. And my goodness, what's going on.
I agree.
When Marvin sang it, and then subsequently when Ray T sang it, and all the people that have sang it in between. I know there's a version of it. The Black Eyed Peas had a version of it back in the early 2000s. Right. And it was just, it's a song that makes you think, man. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that you started with that. That's 14 years ago. And now we're going to, kind of go through and find out who Ray T is, like, where are you from? Because the only bio that I got, and let's see, this is the bio. Reynard Rey T. Thomas is a Grammy-nominated songwriter, producer, composer, arranger, singer, dance. So I'm guessing you're some kind of a dancer. So tell people, where you're from, and what got you into this thing called show business.
I'm actually from Oakland, California, born and raised in Oakland, and then I moved to Fairfield, California. From there, I moved to Vegas. We're in Vegas now.
See, I don't know geography. Yeah. I don't know the difference between Oakland and Fairfield. I don't know what the distance is. I know that if you take, I-15, that's what gets you to Vegas. Because I've done that trip one time from California to Vegas. I went across country, and then I went back up around I-40, which is the closest thing we got to the to Route 66. If you take I-40 across, it's almost Route 66. A little bit. But I mean, all right, Oakland. That's where. I know somebody from Oakland. Who is it that got us together? Heston Cleveland.
Heston Cleveland.
Yeah,
he's actually my promoter now. May soon become a manager.
That's a good dude.
I love the way he works.
Well, I've had him on the podcast. I know he started off promoting his mom, his wonderful mom, very talented, Carrie Cleveland. And, she had all these hits back in the 70s, and he just found them and really reignited her career. And then he found that he had a knack for it. And every time Heston Cleveland puts his mind to it, and if he says, hey, I want to promote Rey T, well, he's going to promote Rey T, and I'm very happy that he put us together today, because I really want to know. Oakland, all right, tell me about Oakland, a young Reynard Thomas in Oakland. What are you doing growing up?
Reading books, sitting. I was a type of child, I was a loner. I had two brothers that was older than me and two that was younger than me. So I was too young to go with the first two, and I was too old to go with the second two. So I spent a lot of time on my own, and I would sit in the closet, and I would just play 45 after 45 after 45.
Wait,
and
all boys?
It got to the point. No, my mother had 9 kids. Actually, it became 6 boys and 6 girls. But my youngest brother was born when I was 18. So all that time I was like the middle boy for a while.
Yeah, I got one of those. I got a sister that's at least 25 years younger than me, which is amazing. Mom still got it, But no, but
yeah.
you were saying that you were a loner and you were playing 45s. What? All right. First, what kind of books were you reading, and what 45s were you playing, and who gave you those 45s and the books?
The books were I used to read the dictionary. I would pick a word a day to learn in the dictionary, and I would read the encyclopedia, because back then we didn't have that we had encyclopedias. So I would do my homework, and while I'm doing my homework, I'm listening to Al Green, Joe Tex, James Brown, a lot of James Brown, and then the Jacksons came along. So it was all R&B soul, but I listened to everything. I went through the desert on a horse with no name.
American.
Bye Miss American Pie.
Don McLean.
I listened to all that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you grow up in the, are you growing up in the 70s, or you were born back in? I was born in '69. When were you born?
I was born a decade before you.
So 59. So you're
59.
You're a young man growing up in the 60s. There's, I mean, between the politics, there's war around you. Civil rights is just about is coming up around you. I just had this discussion today. LBJ, he was Lyndon B. Johnson. He was a Southern Democrat, and as soon as he signed the civil rights that John Kennedy had started, he signed the civil rights into law after John Kennedy died and he became president. And all these Southern Democrats, they turned into Republicans,
right?
Because they didn't want to be associated with Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a Southern Democrat. Okay. But, civil rights is coming up while you're a young man. What do you remember? What did your family tell you about that? Because I remember some news items when I was growing up in the 70s. What were you remembering in the 60s?
In the 60s, I was there. A couple of friends. We were not that far from the Black Panthers. And my auntie, her son was actually engaged to, Eldridge Cleaver's sister. Was it not Cleaver? It was Bobby Seale.
Bobby Seale,
so he was
one
engaged
of the leader
to Betty Seale.
Yeah, one of the leaders of the Black Panthers, probably one of the founding members, right?
One of the founding members. So I knew Bobby, I knew Huey, I knew Eldridge. They used to come to my auntie's house. Now, the reason that they came, my cousin is Johnny Cochran.
Okay.
So we come from the Cochran bloodline.
Okay.
So then back in '68, the day that Robert Kennedy died, if you ever see footage of him in Oakland at the Infirmary Park and you see these kids running behind the limousine, that's us. We reached out and we shook Bobby Kennedy's hand.
Wow.
And that night we went home and my mother said, get up, they killed Kennedy. So we get up, we go look at the TV. I said, that man ain't dead. That man just left the park.
You
I
just
was like
saw.
19 years old. I said, he can't be dead because he didn't have time to go to L.A. I had no concept of airplanes flying that fast. And when they zoomed in, you could actually see it was Robert. And it's like I can't I can't believe it. I can hear Robert in my head saying right now, he said 5 years ago, my brother stood here in the exact same spot and asked you to vote for him. I'm standing here today and I'm asking you to vote for me. That's the last thing he said to us before he drove off.
That's a piece of history that people wouldn't know, man. People can hear about these things, but you were actually there. You were a piece of it. You know, going up and down California, it's a big state. I'm sure he wanted all the votes. Okay, but whether you believed in his politics or not, the man had ideas, good ideas on how to run the country. I mean, obviously people wanted to stop him from doing that. But my goodness, what a memory to have as a young person.
My favorite saying that I use right now today is some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and say, why not? That's my favorite all-time saying.
I like that. I don't remember who said it, though. Who said it?
Robert Kennedy.
Robert Kennedy said that, those very words.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
And you had a brush with greatness. And well, I mean, it's 1968, I'm guessing that's what it was. You were
68.
68. And I know Martin Luther King died on the other side of the country in the South. I mean, that same year. And what were you hearing about that as a young man?
Well, when I first seen Martin Luther King and they said he had been assassinated, once again, my principal looked just like Martin Luther King. So I'm telling my mother, that man's not dead. That man's at school. You know, his name was Mr. Calvert. And he looked just like Martin Luther King. So I was confused. You know, it's like, how can he be in two places at one time and be Martin Luther King over here and Mr. Calvert over here? So it took me a minute to figure out they were two different people.
It blurs a little bit as a 9-year-old, as a young man, you know, and we have no concept. You know, I try to remember way back then, and you know, to when I was a little kid, and I remember a time was, you know, we're gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese, or we're gonna go to, I guess it was we're gonna go to this restaurant, and is it now? Is it time to go? Is it time to go? No. We're gonna go Sunday. Is it Sunday yet? Is it Sunday yet? Our concepts of time, you know, we got to that's leading me to talk about, you know, children, that we got to really take care of our kids too and make sure that they know things. But man, as a young child growing up in Oakland, California, you're dealing with this, yeah.
I can remember the day Kennedy got shot. I was in the kindergarten and the phone rang and get a little choked up. The phone rang, the teacher walked over, her name was Mrs. Dooley. Now that was so many years ago, I still remember all this. And she walked over and she picked up the phone and she goes, "What?" And she said, "Oh my God," and she just sank to the floor. And next thing we know, we were all dismissed. And he had been killed. And they let us go from school. But I can remember her standing at that wall on that phone and falling to the floor. I have sometimes my memory's pretty good.
Well, you know,
things like that stick with me.
Yeah, Rey T, you're talking about teachers. A good teacher is a good teacher. They're going to stick with you for your whole life. It's amazing. You know, I remember Miss Brightwig. She was my kindergarten teacher. I remember Mr. Aikman. He was my 6th grade teacher. I remember a bunch of teachers that really touched, you know, a part of my brain, of my being. And this primarily is a learning podcast, and I'm glad to be learning about you, Rey T. And I want everybody to go and visit Reynard Thomas and Rey T their social medias and stuff like that. But I want to really delve into little pieces of you. What makes Reynard Thomas into Rey T, the performer? So these are all things that are informing you as a child. You're reading books. You're reading. You're listening to records. I mean, hey, you could do a lot worse than James Brown, and that for sure. If you're saying you had a bunch of 45s, who gave you the 45s, and who and reading the encyclopedia, people, kids right now, they don't know what the encyclopedia was. I had a set of Encyclopedia Britannica. I think they were the 1972 version because I remember Richard Nixon was still the president, and I'm reading these all the way up into the 80s. Before the internet, the Encyclopedia Britannica was the internet.
It was the way to go.
Yeah,
it was. Everybody had those in there. But as a child, where I lived, a friend of mine, his brother was a musician, and these groups would come to town, and we would sit on the stairs and listen to them rehearse. They were playing Esther's Orbit Room on 7th Street, the Chitlin Circuit. And it was the Dells, the Delphonics, the Temptations. Stevie Wonder came through there. It's like, but when they came to town, they would go to this particular house and rehearse. And we would sit on the steps and listen. Lil Anthony and the Imperials. And I loved the song Hurt So Bad. And I loved it so much. We did a talent show in the neighborhood. I was told not to leave the yard, and I did. And I sang It Hurt So Bad. And my mother said, "You haven't felt hurt yet." She said, "Didn't I tell you not to leave the yard?" So I became the laughing stock on the block because I went across the street. I sang It Hurt So Bad. They said, "I bet you won't sing that song again." I say, "Yes, I will." They say, "We'll give you a quarter if you sing." I stood up. "Hello, you, the changes I've been going through." And I sang it again.
You sent little chills up my spine just singing that little bit of it. Oh, my goodness. You're talking about the stylistics, the Delphonics. Didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? Oh. You must have been on the right part of not just the right town, but the right street, the right house. You had no choice, Reynard, with all these people going by your house and rehearsing right next door. You had no choice but to get that into your blood, into your soul, and it had to become a part of you. My goodness. Now, you had older brothers and younger brothers. Were they giving you any records? Were they giving you any books? Were you getting any guidance from them?
No, they wanted nothing to do with me.
Who's the closest sibling you got?
My oldest brother now, we're pretty close. When I started touring, we were going to like Japan, and they said, "You're gonna be gone for 6 months." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not going by myself." So they said, "Well, who you gonna take?" I said, "I'm gonna take my brother." They said, "What does he do?" I said, "Nothing." They said, "Well, as of right now, he's the assistant manager," and he toured with me for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So. But they didn't do music. I was the only one that did music.
Well, we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, and I appreciate that so much that you tapped on family. It's nice to have somebody around that at least whether you particularly like them or not. It's your family, it's your blood. Those are the people that are going to back you up more than anything else. And he had nothing else going right now, so you make him assistant manager. You could have made him photographer. You could have made him whatever. Just to have a title, he can get on the show, so he can go with you. Which is great. It's nice to have family next to you. But you're across the street from this great house. Were you across the street from a venue, or was this a house that they were practicing at?
They practiced at it was a James home. The last name was James.
Okay.
And they practiced there. Their whole family were musicians.
Man, I wonder who that was.
They would play for them.
I wonder who that was.
When the artists came to town, they played for them.
That is incredible. That is fantastic. And you called that the Chitlin circuit. I've heard of the Chitlin circuit.
The Chitlin circuit.
Because historically, for mad reasons, I know it's people that are listening right now are going to go, I can't believe it. Blacks and whites were separated. No, really? The black folks couldn't go on the white stages, and the white folks couldn't go on the black stages. Why?
That's right.
Why did that happen? Why, Grandpa? Why? And people that wouldn't understand that, couldn't believe it. I mean, I know that there's still racism, but it was so much worse. People go, oh, I wish I lived back in the 50s. It seemed like a great time. No, it wasn't a great time.
No.
Hopefully it's getting better. Hopefully it's getting a little bit better. But, I mean, people were getting shot for their beliefs, because they wanted to have civil rights, because they wanted everybody to be equal. And they shot John Kennedy, Jack Kennedy. They shot Martin Luther King. They shot Robert Kennedy. People were getting killed for their beliefs, for bringing people together. But that's what music does. The music that you're doing, in particularly, it brings people together. Everybody likes a James Brown song. Everybody likes a Delphonics song. You can't find too many people that don't like the Four Tops, the Four Seasons. You don't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, all these different people that you've sent. I'm hearing their music running through my head as I'm talking to you.
I met them all. I met them all. The Whispers. Eventually the Ohio Players.
Oh my gosh.
Atlantic Star, Midnight Star, Lenny Williams, Tony.
We're
getting ahead, but I met them all.
Oh, fantastic, man. These are still like Roller Coaster. That's one of my karaoke songs. I do karaoke on the weekends, and that's one of my songs, man. The Ohio Players. But you not only listened to the music, you had the people that you could actually talk to. Were you able to have any conversations with some of these people as a young child and before you even a teenager?
I spoke with all of them. Michael was a friend of mine, Michael Jackson. And I learned watching the way the way he watched and learned. I would do the same thing. I would mimic everybody, so I got a chance to talk to a lot of people, especially in my teens, Blue Magic, Stylistics. I opened for all of them.
That's
so,
crazy.
and just what they were teaching me, it's like you couldn't put a price tag on it. So, excuse me, ass was kind of acting up.
Oh.
But what they were teaching me, it was priceless. And the more I saw, the more I wanted to learn. And I was taught you dance until it hurt, and then you dance some more.
Well, that's just it, man.
So,
I asked you earlier about your school life, but your school was actually talking to these people and actually getting to know them and watching them live. You can watch a video of James Brown dancing, but if you see James Brown live dancing, you can watch a video of Michael Jackson dancing even back in the late 60s, early 70s when they were just starting out, and Michael was that front man with that big voice, that little body, and that big voice just came out of him. And even though it was little, he just. And watching his moves, you knew he was going to be great even back then. And you're emulating all these moves. You're watching the Four Tops and Delphonics. You're watching their dance moves, and you want to emulate them. I watched them on videos, and I emulated them in front of my TV. But, I mean, it's got to be a whole different experience when you're looking at them on the stage, and you're standing there in the crowd, and you're kind of moving their way. That's got to feel. You're getting that energy from them. Oh, man, I feel like you've brushed with greatness and you took something from that. Now, okay, let me finish up with your school life. When you were in school, did you do any extracurricular activities? Were you playing sports? Were you listening? Were you playing music at all? And singing?
I did. In elementary, I did a talent show. I sang Mother Popcorn by James Brown, took second place.
Hey.
I was in the choir for 4 years. And from the choir, we started a 5-man vocal group, and we were called the 9 Lives.
Why 9 Lives if there's only 5 of you?
Well, it was a 5-man vocal group, but we had 4 members in the band.
Okay,
So
all right. That's 9 cats up there.
Not 9 Lives.
That's 9 cats. Meow. Okay.
I didn't think about it like that, but 9 cats, yes.
Okay, now you just told me that your asthma is acting up, and I know, I got a 16-year-old's got asthma. She's been dealing with it her whole life, but I tell her, do your cardiovascular exercises. Try a little bit of bike riding or running. She dances. 3 or 4 days a week she dances. But tell me, how do you deal with your asthma? Because being a singer, oh my goodness, asthma's got to be getting in the way sometimes.
Well, when I'm on stage, it doesn't bother me. It's like today was kind of caught me off guard. It rained here for the last 3 or 4 days, and today it's actually windy. So the dust is actually what's causing me to have the allergies and the asthma.
Wow.
So when I'm on stage, I don't think anything bothers me. You're like no pain. You don't get tired. If I'm hired to play from 6 to 8, I play from 6 to 8:30.
Right.
I play until they tell me, Ray, get off the stage. Can we go home, please? Because it's when I'm on stage, Dan, I walked on stage. I was doing a show, and we walked on stage at 8:00, and my band said, Ray, can we please have a break? I said, we just walked on stage. Why you need a break? They say, Ray, we've been on stage for over 3 hours. I looked at the clock and I said, oh, take a 5-minute break.
Oh, man. See, all right. People got to know when they hire a band out, usually it's a 40 or 50-minute set, and then they take a 10-minute break. 40, 50-minute set, 10-minute break. 40, 50-minute set,
yes.
10-minute break. 3 hours is usually
3 hours.
Good for a party band. That usually does it. I mean, some weddings will push a party band 4 hours. I know that being the DJ, sometimes I work with the band where they'll plug into my system, plug into my PA, and they'll play the majority, maybe 30, 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and then I'll play 20 minutes of DJ music. The same kind of genre, or maybe I'll switch it completely. But people got to know when they hired a band, you got to give them a little bit of a break, because that's a live person up there working his butt off, working their butts off.
No break.
No break.
This is their break. I'll do 30 minutes of dance music, then I'll do a ballad. That's their break. and then we go back and we do another 30 minutes, another ballad. So sometimes the keyboard player and I would get together and do something. Everybody else can walk off the stage, but don't go too far, because we're coming back and we're going to continue. So that's their break.
Now, I have seen stuff like that. Okay, yes, over the years when I've worked with bands, setting up the sound for them, setting up the PAs and stuff, they'll do that. Well, they'll break the guitarist and the drummer, and maybe just a solo guitarist will be up there singing a song just to kind of keep things going. Or maybe then the guitarist will leave, and maybe the keyboardist will just keep it going, after he comes off break. And yeah, I've seen that. And they've taken that show, 4 hours, and people have heard music all the way through. No breaks, no downtime. Now, okay, I know, man, I'm harping on the asthma. After all these years, I always thought asthma, people grow out of that stuff. Do you still use the inhalers, or are you, what's your regimen?
I use them, but I try not to use them. It's easier sometimes to just put a cough drop in your mouth and it opens you up. And, but I try not to use it because I don't want to be dependent on them.
I've heard about black coffee too. Black coffee? Is that something that you do?
Yeah, black coffee, the caffeine. But the main thing is just regulating your breathing. And, sometimes I can do it easy. When I'm on stage, I don't know I don't know. It's like I can walk on stage and it's like everything dissipates, everything goes away. And when I walk off stage and once the adrenaline starts flowing, then you feel it again. So my wife goes, she say, didn't he say he was in pain? She said, yeah, he'll feel it when he get home. She said, what you guys don't see is what I have to rub him down and medicate him to get the pain. Because like I said, I dance till it hurt, and then I dance some more.
Well, famously, Ray
there's no
T.
such thing.
Yeah, famously, Ray T. People have stutters, and they start singing, and they lost their stutters. And I could see that.
Was that Mel Torme?
Was it Mel Tillis? I think it was. He was a country singer, the one who.
Yes.
Yeah, and he always and then what he sang, boom, no stutter. And I can imagine you with the adrenaline. Every time I get on stage, I get pumped up. The same thing. You see the crowd, you feel the energy coming from them. I don't know how much you believe in the energy exchanges like that, but I think I'm believing in it more and more every day.
I do.
And you get on certain stages and there's people that have been on those stages before you, and you feel their ghost, you feel their essence, you feel their presence. Oh, B.B. King was on this stage, years ago. Oh, I still feel him. I feel what he brought to this stage. But my goodness, it sounds like you give your all. I mean, and I don't want you to give your all. I'm thinking about Wolfman Jack. Okay, Wolfman Jack was doing MC work until his last day, because he came off of a show, and famously, this is what I've heard, what I've read, is he comes home, he gets to his wife, and he says, "Honey, I'm home," and dies in her arms. After working himself to death. So I want you to have that downtime. It's nice that you have a wife that does take care of you when you come off the road. Because, I definitely, I'm happy that, you have people that you can come home to, and they can rub you down, and they can put that medicine on you, and make you feel good, and get that blood pressure down. I mean, okay, what are you doing when you get out of high school? Are you going to college? Are you going on the road? What are you doing with gigs?
I went to college for 1 year, and after the first year, we went to Japan.
What?
We went to Japan.
When?
We went to
when?
We went to Korea.
No, what year? What year was this? And what did you study in college? And what year did you end that college career and go to Japan?
78.
And what were you studying?
I actually started college in 76. I came out early.
What were you studying in college? What did you think?
I was taking up I wanted to be a gynecologist.
People think that's a great job, but it's not. It's not. Most of the time they're coming at you with something. No.
When they said you had to work on a cadaver, I was done. So I decided I wanted to do marine biology.
Okay.
So we worked on the beach for the first semester. Second semester, you have to swim out 100 yards. It's like in the water. It's like it's sharks out there, because that was right after Jaws.
Yeah. 78, 77, 78. Oh, yeah.
I say, I'm not going out there. I say, in Japan, you can see down 100 feet. It's so beautiful, the water. So I say, I'm not going out there. If I can see down, they can see up. I say, I'm not going out there. So when they asked us if we would tour, it's like, come on, let's go.
Well, all through this time, when are you starting to play music for people? Because you did the talent show.
In high school.
Okay, because you did the talent show way back when, but I think I skipped over. Where did you start singing in front of people? And you say in high school. What were you singing with a band? You said you had the five-man doo-wop, the Nine Lives, and that's in high school. And the Nine Lives, they got so good they went to Japan. All of them. Yes, we were there for almost a year. Who picked you out? Who was the manager that got you into that? How did you get to Japan? My manager was my 6th grade teacher.
I went to my teacher and asked him if he would be my manager. He said, "Well, can you sing?" And I said, "I think so." So he said, "Well, sing something for me." So I sang, "How Can You Mend a Broken Heart?"
Oh.
When I finished, he stood up and said, "You got yourself a manager." And after that, we built the group around me.
Wow.
And
now, do you remember those guys? You still in touch with those guys?
Most of them have passed.
Oh.
Died young men. No, they didn't survive the crack era.
Wow.
A lot of drugs.
Man, that's a little fast forward.
The ones that's still here, we talk every day. They still help me. One of the guys, I don't know if you saw the group Raymar, but Raymar was actually the first time we put out our first single, and that was in '89. And I just got a call from France and Italy, and they're actually in San Francisco. They're taking the song and they're putting in the national entertainment something, but they're going to archive the song.
That's fantastic. Well, you're giving the people gems, Rey T. You're letting people know if you don't make it here, you can make it some other place. This world is pretty big, and there's all different kinds of people all over this world. I know that I worked with a guy from Peru when I worked on a radio station down in Miami. It was like a bilingual 2 English, 2 Spanish songs. And he was from Peru, but in Peru, they played all 50s music. And it was all, the announcers were in Spanish, but they played music, American 50s music and 60s music on that radio station. So tell me about Japan. I got to know. My daughter's learning Japanese because she wants to go over there. I got to know, how was Japan? What did you do over there?
I love Japan. We started out in Tokyo. We were there for maybe a month, and we left Tokyo and went to the Hokkaido Islands.
How many shows? How many shows a week?
You mean a night?
A night?
We did 4 shows a night. We did 13 nights in a row, and we had every other Monday off.
What is happening? That is a hard job. Now, you say shows like you do an hour show and then take a break?
What we would do is we would do a 45-minute set.
Mm-hmm.
We run out the one club, get into the limousine, go to the next club, do the same thing, do a 45-minute set, run out, and then we go to the last club and we do 2 sets.
Now, are you having to set up all your instruments as well, or they had all the instruments set up and you were just playing house
everything
stuff?
was set up. We just walked in and played.
See, now that's pretty good. I've been looking for a roadie since '86. I haven't found one yet that will set it up the way I like it, man. But it's nice to have people that's another thing that you're teaching people. We can't do it by ourselves. We have to have that team that helps us along. If you want to do 4 shows a night, you can. And I'm imagining that while you're out there in the limousine going east, there's another guy in a limousine going west, probably playing in the same place where you were. Is this like dinner theater?
Could have been.
Were they having like food, and then like every hour or so they would change the event, change the show?
The first 2 were actually clubs, but the last one were dinner shows, and we performed for the biggest acts in Japan, and we were actually the hottest band in Japan at the time, and they were all coming to see us. And every night it was standing room only. So I love Japan. I love the customs. The way everything with them it has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I did, I learned from them, and I took what they were saying about perfection, and I tried to put it into my show. From the first note to the last note, everything had to be perfect. I would tell my band, I say, what we created is a fantasy. And every time you make a mistake, you're messing up the fantasy. I say, so if you mess up the fantasy again, I'm going to fine you. I didn't do it a lot. I wasn't James Brown, but if you made a mistake, you got fined. If you use profanity on the stage, you got fined. Different time.
Yeah, but you're a human man. Of course, we're going to make mistakes. That's just all about it. If you're doing 13 shows in 2 weeks, come on, that's like they worked the performers to death in the 60s, where you do 8 shows a week and and twice on Sunday, and they pay them pennies. But you're gaining valuable experience, valuable knowledge, and hopefully you got paid a little bit to where it was worth your while. But
we made great money.
Oh, that's fantastic. I've heard of people coming back saying, oh, we were big in Japan. And I love that. I love that people all over the world love the same things. Music is universal. Music binds us together. And you're singing.
Yes.
What kind of songs are you singing? Are you singing your original songs, or are you singing cover songs of the people that you grew up with?
We did both. We did both. We did back then we had a song called Just for Fun and It's a Grand Day. So those were our first releases.
Soul songs, rhythm songs. What kind of songs are they?
Well, I guess they would be R&B, but to me they were kind of tacky. I would have wrote something different and did it a different way. But the manager and my musical director was doing all the writing. So that's actually what made me start writing, because I thought what they were writing, it could be better. So the only way I could prove it was to write something.
Well, these people that are speaking Japanese, I'm guessing a lot of the people in Japan, and from all I've heard, they're good people. But you're talking about the perfection. Every movie I've seen, if you do it wrong, you're going to get whipped. Pa, 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 pa. Or you're going to whip yourself. You whip yourself. And I've heard that before. But, you're talking about people that maybe don't even speak English. So you want to write a song for them that has a catchy hook. So even if they don't know the actual words, they can kind of phonetically get it. Is that what you were writing? Is that what you were singing?
Yeah, we would make sure we had a catchy hook. But what we found out, Dan, is that they knew the lyrics better than we did. So
like what song?
Anytime any of them we did back then, I guess in the 70s, you had the Bee Gees, you had the Stylistics. We did Yesterday. We did The Way We Were. Our show was not a typical soul show. We did everything from dinner music. We could have played the Copacabana, places like that, because the way our manager set everything up, we were not doing just black music. We were doing music from Billboard, and not from the R&B charts.
Well, as long as you're doing it right, as long as you're keeping the music true to what the record was, what they're playing on the radio, as long as you're keeping true to that beat, I'm sure the people are responding. That's all they want to do. All anybody wants to do when they go out and watch a live performance, especially a local live artist. And my loyal listener, I want you to continue serving your local live artist. Go to that local club and support that local live artist and buy a T-shirt, or a sticker or something, But if these people are coming out of their house, maybe getting a babysitter, and you want to value their time, like I'm valuing your time that we're talking together. Here, I mean, how many? You said 4 months you spent in Japan doing 13 shows every 2 weeks.
6
months. That has got to, even for a young man, and you were a relatively young man back then, and even for a young man, that is hard on a body. How did you feel every night or every morning, I guess, when you got into bed?
I felt it was a job. We were so used to doing it to where we were so used to doing it to where this is going to be funny. They asked us, we were doing a show on the 4th floor. They had a dinner club up on the 6th floor. So they asked us if we would come up and do 2 shows on the 6th floor as well. And we said, sure. So we go from the 4 up to 6, back to 4, up to 6, and then we finished the last 2 on 4. And it was, you could do it in your sleep. You do it without even thinking about it. So there was no such thing as tired.
No, you're still on the adrenaline high for sure. Yeah.
For us, it was like doing after the first month, you didn't even break a sweat. Doing the first 4 shows,
okay.
You didn't break a sweat.
I'm likening that to basic training in the armed forces. That first day, maybe you're a little tired, but by the 2 months or 2 weeks or whatever it is that you get out of basic training, you could do those push-ups. You're fine. You got this. Uh-huh. You could run a 6-minute mile, no problem. You conditioned your bodies. All right. Well, I mean, shoot, coming out of Japan. Then what? Okay, you got 6 months in Japan. You got a big bag of money in your, you got a little money in your pocket. That sounds good. That's great that you're making a living. But what makes you leave?
Members started changing. And when they kicked my best friend out, I said, I'm retiring. That was 1980. And, I retired for about maybe 2 months. My guitar player came to me and said, hey, Ray, we're putting a band together. We want you to be the lead singer. And I said, man, I'm retired. He said, just one rehearsal. Just one rehearsal. And I said, I'll give you one rehearsal. And the keyboard player that was with me at that first rehearsal, because he told him the same thing, he's still my keyboard player today. So... we became New Direction, and then from New Direction, we did that for maybe until 85, when I was asked to sign with Michael Jackson. Offered me a contract,
okay,
a 4-year contract, $12 million,
okay,
to sign,
and
he guaranteed me 5 consecutive #1 hits, but he wanted full control of everything that I did. So I said, everything? He said, yes. And I said, I can't do that. We Michael and I was maybe like either same age or a year apart. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, Ray, our lives are so germane. And so I said, like your brother? He said, no, stupid. He said, with a G, not a J. So I didn't know what it meant. So immediately I went and looked it up. And we were.
Well, what year was this? What was this? What, the mid 80s, late 80s? This
was 85.
85. Michael Jackson was at the height of his powers. He was Superman. He was the most famous musician in the whole world.
Yes, he was.
And
85.
You had to weigh out those options to where your whole creative being would have been in his hands. And man,
he offered me. He told me, say, you could be my opening act. I say, why would they want to look at me? I sound like you. We looked almost alike, our style.
Right.
And I say, what you going to do, give them the imitation and then come back with the real thing? I say, I don't want to do that. He said, well, if you don't do it, I'll hire a juggler. And that's what he did. He hired a juggler. And I didn't think, one, what he wanted me to do, Dan, the first 3 months, he wanted me to go live at their Neverland. And he said, your family could follow after that. And
were you married at
I
this
believed,
time?
yes, I
Okay.
got married when I was 19,
Oh, so this same woman's been with you the whole time?
the whole time.
That's beautiful, man. Hey, let me give an
Yeah,
applause
the
on
whole
that
time.
one, because I know my listeners out there banging on their hands, going, "What? Since he was 19, still?" I love it, man. That's good.
July 29th, we celebrated 45 years together.
That love, man. That is what's got to keep you together. Whether somebody's offering you a big bag of money, and not just a big bag of money, a big bag of money. Oh my gosh, this is money that you cannot spend in your lifetime, but you're weighing this out. And everybody's got crossroads in their life, and I think 1985 was probably a big crossroad for you. You got to say, do I go down this path and have all the riches but maybe lose my family, or do I go down this path?
There it is.
And keep my family?
Because I felt that if I went down there for 3 months, 3 months would turn into 6, and 6 months would turn into a year. I think it was designed to get me away from them. And because he told me they couldn't know she existed. She couldn't be seen, and she accepted it. I didn't. It's like we stayed friends until the day he died. So Michael asked me. He said, "What do you want from me?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "What do you want from me?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Everybody wants something from me. What do you want from me?" I said, "Your friendship." He said, "You already have that." He said, What do you want from me?" I said, "Michael, you don't have nothing that I want to need." I say, "Except your friendship." I say, "So I got everything that I need." So he actually, I think like you said, everybody wanted something from him. And because I didn't want anything from him, we became the best of friends. And up until the day he died, when I got the phone call that he was in the ambulance and he wasn't breathing, it's kind of like I'm riding from Fairfield to Oakland, and I'm going, "Michael, don't do it. Don't do it." I told Michael when we first met, I said, "Your life is very similar to Elvis Presley." I say, "You're going to die the same way Elvis Presley did if you don't be careful." And he said, "I'm not that dumb."
The rest is history. Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Just exactly the same. My goodness.
Elvis was my favorite entertainer. So I told Michael, I say, when he got with Lisa Marie, I say, "Don't get with her for the wrong reasons."
Yeah.
I say, but your life and Elvis's parallel each other.
Oh my
I
goodness!
Say, you're gonna go out the same way he did.
Yeah, him with his daughter living at his house. I mean, and taking care of his grandkids. Mm-hmm. That was kind of interesting to the people from the outside. But what did you think about that relationship?
He loved her. She made him happy. But Michael was so protective of the media and people coming in close to him. And so for a minute he got standoffish and he stopped calling. But as soon as they broke up, he called again. And I told him, I say, I'm the same way with my wife. It's like, I'm very protective.
Oh, yeah.
I say, so I understand. Even when he got the first child, I understand. Michael was actually my second son's godfather. So whatever Michael wanted, Michael got. Michael would call me and say, "I need you to do this and do that and do this and do that," and you do it. So you didn't question. You just went along with it.
Well, that's just it. Your family is your greatest strength and your greatest weakness, man. You want to be protective of them. And I see he was, and I see that you are as well. Now, you've had, man, a wife of 45 years. Oh, people should be so lucky. And then how many kids you say you have?
Deuce.
2 boys, you said?
2 boys.
What are they up to?
My oldest son works at Tesla.
What's that?
He's a junior. Tesla. And my youngest son, he's actually the CEO of MRE Entertainment, which is our record label, and he's a rapper.
That's fantastic.
And he's doing rap and real estate.
Rap and real estate.
My son,
you can mix those two together. I'd like to get you into this house. I'd like to get you into this house.
That's what I said. Do a rap about buying homes, but he said that's tacky.
So what? So
I say,
what?
No, it's commercial.
It's catchy, man. It's what those people in Japan loved all those years ago. Is that catchy tune?
Yeah.
All right. So you
catchy.
You get out of Japan. You get this band. I mean, my goodness, you got a band to get together. How long did that band go from? You said 85 to 80 to what?
To 89.
85 to 89. You were going strong.
Uh-huh.
What kind of things were you playing? I mean, what kind of events? And was it mostly around California or all over?
All over. I had a friend ask me, I asked him if he could help me tour. So he said, "What are you doing now?" I said, "We play the hotels." At that time, it was the DoubleTree, Red Lion, Hilton, Ramada Inn, things like that, Sheraton's. So we were doing the hotel circuit. So I say, we play stadiums. We play auditoriums. He say, if you're doing all that, what you need me for? He say, that's a tour, right? And I go, no, it's just a lot of shows. He say, that's a tour. And I said, if that's the case, I've been on tour since I was 16.
Right. Right. Hey, before I get too far away from it, I know I'm going to get my listeners going to be emailing me if I don't ask. In addition to, hey, you had good friendship with Michael Jackson, which is wonderful. Did you end up ever doing anything professionally with him? Did you sing on any of his records or did he play on any of yours? Anything? Not even, secret.
No.
Shh. Sometimes you get a shh. Yeah, don't tell anybody, but I'm playing on that record, and I'm mixing this down for you or whatever. Never did anything professional.
No,
okay. Dirty
Diana.
Yeah,
was actually a song that was called "Look No Further," and he took it, and I told him, I say, "I'm gonna sue you for taking my song." He said, "Get in line."
Hey, that's the other thing. Did he? From what I heard from Lisa Marie was telling, he didn't speak with that high voice all the time. He spoke with a normal voice most of the time, right?
He did. His voice is. Michael told me that my voice was actually higher than his, and I went, "Get out of here!" And so we started listening to the songs that I had done, and we started listening to him, and he was right. Okay. My voice was higher than his, but Michael talked. He talked. This is one thing that we both do. We talk from our throat.
Gotcha.
Because when you talk from your throat, it makes your voice a little deeper. I got tired of being called ma'am. Gotcha. So I forced myself to talk a little deeper. But when you in the studio, once everything stretches out, you sound like, people tell me, my best friend told me, he say, I'm the only guy that he knows that never went through puberty. So, no, but his voice was deep. If you talk to him on the phone, you wouldn't recognize him.
Very good. All right. That's what I had always heard. All right. So you're touring for 5 years with, was it New Horizons? What was it called?
New Direction.
New Direction. I'm thinking New Edition
Direction.
for some reason, but that's Cool It Now.
Everybody called us either New Edition or Special Delivery.
Okay. All right. New Direction. So, all right.
New
Did,
Direction.
did you say you made some records with New Direction? Can people still get those?
No, I made what I did was I made them, but they were never released.
Gotcha. Who's got the masters?
So, good question.
Oh, see, those are things
My
those
my
are things that you
manager
might
at
want
the time, he's a sound man for the Whispers, and he had all the tapes. I asked him about a month ago if he still had them, and he wouldn't answer.
Man, I've heard, since Prince died, he's got stacks and stacks and stacks of tapes and videos and movies and full-fledged, just all kinds of entertainment that may never see the light of day unless his family says, and when these great entertainers pass away, there's such a body of work that's still left over. Oh my goodness. But no, you want those songs. Those are songs that you worked on, that you put together, that you painstakingly recorded. And I would love to have the people hear them, but nope.
Great music.
Never going to be heard.
Back in the day, I didn't want anything to do with the business side of it. I just want to walk in, sing, and walk out. So I never got into the publishing, anything. Nothing to do with business. I didn't want it. So when everything went separate ways, I kind of lost track of all those. And then once we started the new record label,
MRE?
This is in MRE. No, actually, we started Prime USA Records first.
Oh, what year was this? 90? 91?
It was in actually 97.
97. So for those 7-8 years, what were you doing between
touring? Just
by yourself?
Just touring
by yourself, or
no? New Direction. No, see, New Direction became Raymar.
Raymar, okay.
Raymar became Special Request. Same people, just name changes.
Okay, all right.
But I've never been off tour.
Okay, and that is what I needed to know about the Special Request, because it sounded like it was somebody different, but it's Special Request featuring Rey T. That's the same band that you've pretty much been with since '85.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time to keep a band together. Same members, or different member changes, maybe.
Mainly the bass and the drums. The bass and the drummers is always the problem.
Yeah, they're the rhythm.
The guitar player.
Yeah, the rhythm section's kind of hard to keep together, because they get as soon as they get good, other bands want them, or they want to do something on their own, or family gets in the way. Hey, that's a tough thing too.
My keyboard player and my guitar player are brothers.
Oh, okay.
So they're not going anywhere.
Nope, that's tight. Are you playing any instruments yourself at all?
I play keyboards.
That's cool. See, that's nice to have a little extra flavor, a little extra keyboard. Now, do you play well enough?
I don't play on stage, though.
Okay. But, I mean, shoot, come on. After all these years, you'd be able to play on stage at least a little bit.
I've never played in public. Never. It's like I do my writing in the studio, and I do what I do. I give it to my guys, and I tell them, I say, what are you doing? I say, I don't read music. I say, so you're the musical director. You tell them what to do. You make the charts and leave me alone. Well, let me know when you're ready.
Some people that play and sing say that one is going to outweigh the other. If they play keyboard real well and they try to sing, it's going to diminish the keyboard or diminish the singing. So you're concentrating completely on the singing. You're being the front man. You're dancing. Can you still dance around? You still got the moves?
I still dance. They told me, why don't you just stand and sing? I said, I'm not a stand-up singer. I say, the day that I become a stand-up singer is the day that I actually sit down.
Man,
I'm done.
I had the opportunity to see Chuck Berry back in 2008 in Key Largo. I think it was July 31st, 2008. He wasn't doing the full duck walk, but he did get down a little bit and got that duck walk while he's playing his guitar. So, yeah, I appreciate that when you got the moves even into your 70s, into your 80s. You know, how long do you think you can keep this going, Rey T?
Until God calls me home.
See, you were tired. You were tired for 2 months, and they said, "No, you can't keep a good man down." What do you think?
I made fun. I say I don't understand why BB King. I met BB King back in, I want to say, '86. We actually opened. It was BB King, Bobby Blue Bland, Buddy Ace, Leroy and Skillet, and the Ballads, and New Direction. It's like we were a fish out of water because they were all blues and we were doing R&B, and we would most back then it was covers. And I did my set, and I watched these guys go up on stage, and I'm going, I don't know why these old dudes are still doing it. But as I got older, it's like, now I know why. It's like, as long as I can stand up there and move, I'm going to do it.
Because you can't do anything else, man. What are you going to do? Sit in a chair and watch Hee Haw and watch, Soul Train? No, you're going to get up and you're going to go out as long as people want you. Every year I think, am I getting too old for this? Playing, DJing for parties and stuff. And then I go to a senior prom or a Sweet 16 and I'm still in touch with the kids and they're still moving and grooving. Yeah, you want that energy. Rey T, I can imagine you up there on stage doing your thing, singing. Are you still, or is it 50-50 covers and original songs, or is it 80-20?
70-30.
70-30?
70-30.
So, you're giving
originals now.
You're giving the people 70% originals? Or
originals.
70%.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking the other way, but that's fantastic.
I have maybe 40, 50 CDs out.
See?
We signed a deal with Universal, and I have in the publishing department, over 300 songs that's Universal control now. There's no reason for me to do covers anymore.
But I like doing covers. No, there's no reason at all. Even if you go to go see somebody, even if you go see Bruce Springsteen, he's going to cover something, right? Maybe a little bit of a something that he wants to do. But with that many records, people are coming out to see Special Request and Rey T. Is that what you're being billed as right now? Special Request, yes. Featuring Rey T.
Rey T. Yes,
that's fantastic.
I watched Prince.
Yes.
Prince did his music, but he also threw in covers.
Yes.
And I said, if he can do it, then we can too. I said, we don't have to stop, but we need to integrate more of our songs, because when you when you walk on stage to do those shows, at the end of the week, you turn in your list of what you did.
Right.
And you get publishing.
Right.
So instead of putting money in somebody else's pocket, I want to keep it in mind.
Absolutely, man. And that it's hard enough to make money in this business, especially now. We're not selling records. I keep saying records. Nobody's selling actual hard records, 12-inch records or even little compact CDs or 8-track tapes or whatever. It's all singles. It's all digital, and people aren't making a lot of money off of that. You're talking about you don't like to be a part of the business, but you got to be involved somewhat in the business because people are stealing your money. They're stealing all the artists' money. I had 50,000 streams. How much you get? $12.
Yeah. Everything now is business. I wake up doing music. I go to bed doing music. We have 8 artists on our label. I make sure that they're getting their radio airplay, the promotions. I do press releases for everyone. We do everything. So now it's all business. James Brown said 75% business, 25% music. And he's absolutely right. I handle my business before I do anything else. And as far as sale, I tell people all the time, there's nobody's buying records. Nope. Everything is being streamed. But if you own your publishing, you can get paid.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we not only own our publishing, but we own our masters. So we own everything. Now it's kind of 50-50 with Universal, but we still have the control.
See, well, that's what people are doing nowadays. I mean, famously, Taylor Swift, she re-recorded all her masters so she could own all her stuff. Prince, he changed his name to a little symbol, just so he can get away from his music company. It's amazing. But if you want to get out, you can do it. And having a record company, having Universal behind you, yes, I'm sure that's pushing your music far. But they're still taking a nice big piece of the pie, or at least they were probably back in the day when you first started. But it's nice to have. You got to weigh it out, just like you weighed out that thing that deal with Michael Jackson, where maybe he pay you a bunch of money, but then he owns your soul, or stay friends with him, keep your family, and stay on this level, still make a good living,
and we do okay. So I tell everybody it's not about the money, for me anyway. If you're in this business to make money, then you're not going to go that far, because 9 out of 10, you're not going to make any money. We've been blessed to do what we've done, to start a label, to get Universal in grooves doing our distribution, then to get a publishing deal. We did all that. And like my son says, you didn't have to bend over, you didn't have to bow down, you didn't have to do this and that. And nothing but the grace of God.
Oh,
and so it's I'm glad of what we've accomplished. It could have been more, but as long as I got my publishing, when the time comes for me to retire, if I retire, I'll live off the publishing.
Well, Rey T, you've been through this business. Yeah, you've been through this business to where you did make millions of dollars selling records, back then, and now you've seen it change to where you just had to put your ideas, your money into different places. Now you're older, you're a teacher, you're a mentor, you're able to help the younger artists, through your record label, through your promotion, through your guidance. You're helping the next generation of Rey T's.
I try to.
But I know I've taken a lot of your time, and I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. I've had a fantastic conversation with you, man, but I do want to wind this thing down. Anytime you want to come back, you come back, man. You're a real nice man, Reynard Thomas, aka Rey T.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
I usually finish these things off. We got give some shout outs to people that have helped you along the way. Maybe some of the artists that you're helping out, and then we'll give some last words for the people and get on out of here.
Okay. Shout out to Heston. Heston is the man, and he had nothing to say. Make sure I give a shout out to you for having us. And he told me, he said, "You're gonna enjoy Dan." He said he's Dan the man. So, and he was right. So shout out to the band members, Gary and Mark, my artist is Symphony, Corrosive, and then we have Finesse the Entertainer, we have Hunter, and we have G Hunter, and those are people that keep me grounded. My wife, my family, and more importantly to the people that support us, because when we look at our music online, everything is maxed out, and that's the fans. It's nothing that we do. We make the music, but they make it popular. So thank you for listening. Continue to listen, and whatever you do, with everything that's going around, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, because you got people that love you and need you, and I'm one of them.
Well, Rey T, I found you online. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, you got your YouTube page. Is there any place? Is there a website that people can find you on, or is that the
Yes.
spot?
There's two. www.specialrequest.co, and then you have www.rey rey-t.com. So rey-t.com, reyt-.com.
Ray?
And then the last one, you can go to the record label, is Money Rules Everything Entertainment.com.
All right. Now the special request you said .co?
.co.
Huh.
Yes.
That's interesting.
.com was, someone had already taken that. So
Okay.
well,
All right.
we went with .co.
Definitely make sure I put that in the show notes so people remember and how to find you and get to a show. Got any shows coming up?
We're actually getting ready to go into Red Rock casinos and station casinos. I'm putting together a review, a James Brown type review, to where we bring up all the artists from the label. They all get their slots. I'll open, bring them up, come back in the middle, bring them up, and then I'll close the show.
Say it loud.
But I'll give you the dates as soon as I get them.
That's fantastic, man. Well, every time you get on your Facebook and if I see you on my feed, I definitely put a share. I got a little music group that I share all my music artists into, and it's nice, man. It takes no time. It's free if you see somebody, and I'm talking to my listener right now. It's free if you see somebody on your Facebook, on your Twitter, and it's free just to retweet. Give them a little retweet. Bam.
Yeah.
Send it a little further out into the stratosphere and make that star go higher. I appreciate that. All right, Rey T, let's wind this thing down. I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Rey T, give the last words for the people.
I stole this from Eddie Murphy. Remember, your good is blessed. Let me check it right. Your good, my good is better, my better is blessed. So my good is better, and my better is blessed. So no matter what you do, do it, be the best that you can be, and have faith, and it'll come, it'll happen. So that's all I have to say to you.
Well, there you have it, party people. Rey T, Reynard Thomas. Oh, my goodness. See, I had no idea. I knew a little bit about Rey Thomas. I knew that his YouTube page is filled with hit after hit after hit that he's created over at least the last 14 years and even longer because, he only just found this YouTube page 14 years ago. That's when YouTube was just a baby. And he said, I got to get on there. So there's music on there that it's been going on since YouTube was first made. But he's had music, 50 records that he's put out to the world. And if you don't know how to get those records, you find him on his Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Find him on his website. I got all the links right below. Make sure you check it out. Special Request, the latest incarnation of the band that he's been with probably since 1985. That's the 1900 for you kids, okay? That's a long time to be in anything, any kind of a job. But to keep a band together, at least the main core of the band, that's fantastic. That he's been able to do this all these years. But he's got staying power. 45 years of marriage. The man's got staying power. That's loyalty. That's long-lasting relationships, long-lasting friendships. The man's easy to get along with. He works well with others, and he's nice to talk to as well. Rey T, Reynard Thomas, thank you so much for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast. I look forward to hearing more from you. Really, really I do. It's a distinct pleasure having you on this side of the screen for sure, being on this side of the mic and watching you on the screen. That was... Man, you've touched greatness. You've been greatness. You are greatness. To be somebody, you think you're somebody. You just be, just do it. If you want to be in the music business, just be in the music business. Play hit after hit after hit and write and just, I don't want you to ever stop. Don't ever stop. Don't do it. okay? Unless you want to stop. But don't stop, because the fans need you. The fans need to hear more about you and more of you. All right, I'm rambling now. Thank you so much again, Reynard Thomas, Rey T, for being on the podcast. Now, if you, yes, you, I'm turning my attention to my loyal listener. If you'd like to be on the podcast, what makes you famous? I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdanradiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.